All right. Hello. I had a little Zoom difficulties this morning getting on. I guess I'm on a new IP I'm on the boat with Starlink. So apparently since I moved locations, it changed my IP or something, but Zoom didn't trust me this morning. But anyway, we got it all worked out and we're here. As you can see, it's very bright out, so I might be squinting a little bit. But this is it. This is the end of the year, and you all know what that means. We're gonna all get roughed up. Gonna do our end of year process. I emailed that out to all of you. So did anybody not get that? Just in case, just in case somebody didn't
So,
have it or doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna put the link in the chat.
so can you explain what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the year-end scorecard.
Okay. So I got a quick question. I got two notices from you. I got a notice that says that quantum AI was no longer, and then I got a new one that said quantum AI and ACT, and I signed up for that thinking the other one was no longer, and now I got both.
Okay, I will get you. I'll just send me an email and I'll get you fixed up. What I was doing last week, we decided like a while ago to sell ACT and Quantum as a bundle. And
Right,
some of you have had ACT forever, and some of you have added Quantum onto it. But what I did, I was sending out that email to all the people that have dropped off. Like a lot of people, like their credit card will go bad and then their membership will get canceled. So what I was doing was I was sending that out to everybody, letting them know that toward the end of the year here, we're going to switch up all of our pricing and stuff. A lot of you guys got into ACT at a very low price. And that's been going on for, I don't know, a couple of years. We've been letting just about anybody in for anywhere from nothing to next to nothing just for the monthly recurring for the calls. But
right.
we're basically ending that promo going into 2026, and the price to get into ACT is going to be 497, just like it was, in past years. The the monthly is going to be 47 because it's a combination of ACT and Quantum. So anybody that's in, if you don't want Quantum, you just want ACT, there's no change for you. There's no forced upgrade or anything like that. But anyway, long story short, I sent the email out to everybody that has expired, letting them know your membership's expired. If you want to get back in, here's a link to do it before we change the pricing. And
Okay.
and I got the wrong tags in Kartra and it kind of went out to most of you. So
Yeah,
I
and
apologize for that if anybody got scared over that.
yeah, I thought my prescription is canceled, but I thought I didn't get any notice. I mean, I didn't understand how it could be canceled. And
Yeah,
then I saw this other thing. So I said, okay, well, let me sign up for this $47 thing because I know that's the newer thing. But why do I need both things?
no, no, you don't. You don't need both. It was for the most part, the tagging part was a mistake. So a lot of you got that message in error. But anybody that doesn't have ACT and Quantum, we won't be selling Quantum as a standalone anymore. It'll just be combined with ACT because let's face it, anybody that needs Quantum needs ACT, and anybody that needs ACT needs Quantum.
Well,
They
that's good to know. That's good to know because I just sent it to Chicago to a colleague and did a one-on-one with him, and now he's going to see a different link. So I need to explain that to him
yeah,
before he signs up for the.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got
So
the wrong link.
in the link, I won't change the links.
Oh, okay,
So I'm not going to change the link. So all of your links, like if you have affiliate links and stuff like that, I'm not going to change the links, but I am going to change the offer and the pricing on the page the link goes to.
right, okay.
So just know that, and
Well,
And
it doesn't change anything because it's 47 and I told him it was 47 and so
yeah,
it'll be fine.
yeah.
So I'll send you an email that says basically cancel the 29.95
Okay. Yeah,
old Jane.
if anybody got that message and panicked and signed up again, send me an email. I'll make sure you don't get double billed. I'll take care of that for you, no problem. But yeah, and that's a whole learning point when you're managing a mailing list. I wanted that, and I did this total transparency. By Not by accident did I send that to everybody, but in the tagging, you guys were supposed to be excluded from it. But
Well,
I
it
did.
was fun. It was funny because I signed up for one, and then the next minute I got billed for the other. So I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, no, my plan, here's my master plan. My master plan was to send it out to everybody because I have multiple lists with different people with, have different interests and what have you. But the common thread is most of them are in business one way or another. So they could all benefit from ACT and Quantum. So my goal was kind of slide it in kind of sneaky, like, and they might say, oh, well, I wasn't really signed up for that, but I did. And it worked. There was quite a number of people that have never been in ACT before that signed up. So my evil plot worked, but I was supposed to exclude all of the existing members weren't supposed to get the email. But here's another thing. A lot of you have multiple email addresses in my system. So you may not have got it on the email that you're signed up for ACT, and you might have got it on another email. Because I have a tremendous amount of people that have multiple email addresses and they sign up for different things for, in different ways. So, it wasn't a perfect plan. It had a little flaw to it, but it it did bring in some orders. So that's the key. I mean, when you're marketing, it's all your plotting and scheming of how you're going to sell your products. And visibility is a big thing. If you're not visible, you're not going to sell anything. So
No.
I had a portion of my list that was not visible to ACT, and they just got the spotlight shined on it for them. So it worked in that sense. It did bring in customers, but in retrospect, if I weren't so lazy, it always comes back to that. If I weren't so lazy, I would have sent like 10 different messages and I would have specifically segmented the groups out. But no, I'm far too lazy for that. I'm just going to send it to the whole list and try and exclude the ones that I didn't want to get it. So that's how that all shuffled out. So I apologize if you guys freaked out, saw that, and signed up twice. Just send me an email and I'll fix it up for you. No problem. So anyway, I put in the chat, I put the link to the scorecard. If you guys, it's a PDF. You should be able to just click the link and it should just load in a browser for you as we go through it so you can all follow along. But Jerry, did you have a question before we get started?
Yes, it's along the same lines as Randy. I got the same emails that he did, but
Okay.
my question has to do, since I signed up for the white label, am I supposed to be charged for both the other thing, and because I've been charged for both, so I didn't know if
Yes,
that
yes. Now the thing with the white label is a separate thing. So it
okay,
is an additional charge, yes.
okay.
So the 47 is the ACT Quantum, that's that bundle. And then if anybody decides they want to go with the white label, that's an additional charge because that's a whole different product. That's like an upgrade layer on top.
Oh,
But
and I wondered because it has ACT in it and quantum in it, so that's
yeah,
why I thought I was being double charged.
no, no, the thing with your white label is I'm giving you all the ability inside your white label to use all of my tools. You can decide if you want to or not. You don't have to use any of my tools. You could go in there, you could sweep all mine out of the way and just build your whole thing, no problem. But that's why they're in there. They're built into the white label just to give you the advantage of a head start.
Okay, thank you.
Like somebody literally could come in, purchase a white label, and not change anything. Just put their name on it and say, "This is my suite. Here it is. Here's the price," and start selling it, start making money. They could go like bingo right out of the gate and have something to make money with. So, Randy, go ahead.
So speaking of white label, John, when you look at white label, there's an additional $9 charge once you go white label. Is that because of team members?
No, no, no. The $9 is a seat charge when you sell a white label to your customer. That's the seat license price. So what's happening there, that gets split between my programmers to maintain the system of the white label ongoing. So like let's say you buy the white label, you're paying 97 a month for the system. And then as you sell them, you're basically selling inventory. The inventory price that you're going to sell costs you $9 a seat. So you reprice it at, let's say you sell it at 49, you're making a $40 profit. If you sell it at 99, you're making a $90 profit. So that's totally up to you how much you want to sell it. It's kind of like Site Pop. When you buy Site Pop as a white label, you're reselling it and the seat licenses are costing you, like I don't know how much they are, $6 or $8 a piece.
Okay,
And
I've never done white label and I didn't understand what seat meant. So that makes
yes.
sense. Okay.
So when you do get the white label, you get 2 free seats out of the gate. So the first 2 you set up are free. There's no $9 charge to the first 2. And the purpose of that is so you can set up a demo account. Because if you give away a seat, like let's say you do a 30-day trial, that 30-day trial seat is costing you $9. So you're going in the whole $9. So you probably don't want to do that. But what you can do, you can set up a demo account. And then if somebody wants to see it before they buy it, you can just say, "Oh, here, log into my demo account and test it out." And then the thing with that is they're sharing that account. So nothing they build in there is private. Like if they make an image, everyone else that's sharing that demo account is going to see what they're doing. So, and yeah, and just tell them that's the way it is in the demo. That's the way it works. If you are good with that, you're free to use it, for a month and then you can lock them out every month. You can just go in and change the password. So if you're worried about them using it long term and not buying it, just change the
Right.
password every 30 days and you're all good.
Okay.
And you could even tell them, it's a 24-hour demo. And then that way, when you change the password, say, "Well, you got your 24 hours." So lots of ways to go around that. But I think the quantum white label is probably one of the most powerful things across the board for everybody to give you a viable product right out the gate where it'll make you look like a superstar. Because, a lot of people will write a book. The reason they write a book is for credibility. If they want to get credibility in a marketplace where they don't have it, like let's say somebody loses their job and they want to start up a new startup and they're going into an industry where they might have a ton of experience in the topic and they just don't have any experience in the industry. So they go in, what do you need? You need credibility to get people to listen to you. So some people will write a book so they can say, "Well, I wrote the book on the subject matter." And a lot of times that'll remove doubt, remove question, and it's great. Other times it's not quite enough. But I guarantee you go into the marketing industry and you say, "I built a suite of AI tools," that's going to give you some credibility. That's going to probably give you a lot more credibility than writing a book in any way, shape, or form. Because then you're a software developer and you're in the tech to them. Doesn't mean you have to know any tech. All you have to know is how to point and click, and you're a software developer. So that's that thing where I said, I have a magic wand now and I can coordinate you with any skill based on AI. You just have to follow instructions and you're an expert. It's amazing. I mean, I've said this so many times, but it's so true. We live in a time that is just absolutely incredible right now. This is like unimaginable. Think back 10 years and what's available to you right now. Think back 10 years of what was available to you 10 years ago. Like even just to start a business. To start a business 10 years ago, you had to have a lot of stuff that you don't have to have now. And one of them is money. Think about all the money that AI saves you to start a credible business. I mean, for a few bucks, you can have an AI solution that makes you look like a superhero in business. It gives you graphical capabilities, it gives you web development capabilities, it gives you video capabilities, all the stuff that you probably don't have, and all the stuff you don't want to have to go build, and all the stuff you don't want to have to go to Fiverr and pay for and piecemeal together and make all those mistakes and hire people that don't know any more than you do and have to pay them for it. So it's just it really is an incredible time. And I'm just shocked that more people are not taking advantage of it and jumping on it. So that's what I want to do. I want to open up and do more of these live trainings. Like a 3-day training is perfect for a white label because the first day we can kind of go into the theory and the nuts and bolts of it. The second day, the first day we can actually build it out too. We can actually build out your entire white label in that one day. And then the second day we go into building your own tools, like really dialing in and customizing your suite. And then the third day we can talk about selling it, the actual business of marketing it and selling it. And I've done 2 now, and I think 3 days is perfect for it. And I want to do more of those because I want to open that opportunity to more people because it's really a game changer. I mean, to offer a suite and even the support on it is fairly minimal. You might get somebody that doesn't know how to log in or whatever, or maybe they lost their password and you have to send them a password or something. But nobody is going to call you up for tech support and ask you how AI works or how to, that just doesn't happen. If they do, say, pull up AI and ask it. It'll tell you. So it's like, if you want tools, I've got the tools. If you want education, go to college. you know, just tell them, I'm not here as a trainer or a teacher. I'm here as a tool builder to offer you an amazing set of tools. So one of the biggest issues I've seen with people where they kind of fumble and their business gets really convoluted is they try and do too much. They try and get out of their lane. Like figure out what your lane is and just stay in your lane. I can't tell you how many people come at me for want me to get into all kinds of weird shit. I'm just like, no, I don't do that. Nor do I want to do that. I got plenty of stuff to do. So just, keep your eye on the ball. Figure out what you're going to make money with and how you're going to make money with it and do it. Stay focused. That's one thing. Like the difference between the winners and losers is focus. It's being able to keep your eye on the ball. If you are constantly just squirreled off on the next new thing, like I talked to Richard about that. I don't think he's on the call today, but I hit him with that over the head a couple weeks ago because he keeps coming on with all this new stuff. Well, have you seen this? And this does that so much better. And I'm like, Richard, stop. Just grab something and wrestle it to the ground. don't keep chasing the new thing. So that's really important. Focus is key. So anyway, anything else before we get into our scorecard and I beat everybody up? We're all going to get a clubbing over the head today. Just full transparency.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Hey, how long is the Optimancer pricing good for?
Optimancer at least through the end of the year. And for you guys, if there's any of you that that have whatever circumstances or whatever, just let me know. That's not a big deal. As you know, I always take care of everybody, so not to worry. Janie, go ahead.
Thanks.
I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity. Always, every year, I learn something more about what I need to do. I had some improvements and I have much more to focus on. So I appreciate the delineations between, and mostly it's segmenting and then doing different email sequences.
Yeah, it's getting good at something takes focus. And so many times there's so much material around us. There's so many shiny objects that focus is getting more and more difficult every day. Like even for me, I get squirreled off all the time and I have to wrestle myself back. And that is one of the reasons why I've always done this year-end process. And I always say, it just because I do it once a year doesn't mean that that's the right thing to do. I do it once a year because I'm lazy. I should do it every quarter. If I did it every quarter, I would be more productive and I'd be more successful. Just straight up honesty. I just don't want to. I got other stuff to do. Like play
But
on
if you
my
do
boat.
that, I'd lose faith in that laziness I love in you.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I would. I have to be faithful. I have to be focused on my thing, and that's laziness.
Well, this year you really produced.
I did, and it was because of focus. It was because I just set everything aside. And if you guys remember when we did this thing last year, I said I was going to do that. I said I was going to prove a point. I said I'm going to actually drink my own soup here and show you guys that this really does work. And I've I I mean, I don't really do accounting more than once a year either because I'm lazy there. Teresa's probably going, "Oh my God, don't say that." But I do. I have one day a year where I spent with my tax guy and I spend a full day preparation getting ready for him, going back through all my stuff. And I figure if I did that every month or every week, it's going to take me the same amount of time as if I do it once a year. I mean, it is. So that one day, I spend one day instead of 52 days. That means I have 41 days to go play on the boat instead of chasing numbers around a spreadsheet. And again, Teresa's probably going, "Oh my God, you're an idiot." Maybe so. But I've been an idiot for a long time, and that's worked pretty well for me. So I do the thing once a year. I sit down one day, I get all my numbers, and then I sit down the next day with my tax guy. And he looks at me and he asks some questions, and I always have answers for him. Like this last time, he's like, uh, what's this 50 grand over here? And I said, "Oh, it's a corporate treasury." He said, "It's a what?" And I said, "It's a corporate treasury that I funded with XRP." And he's like, "Why?" And I explained my reasoning, and he's like, "That's a pretty fucking good idea." So that's awesome. But anyway, that's just the way I operate. I'm a once a year guy when I can get away with it. But back to what I said last year, we sat down, we did this, and I said, I know this works. Maybe I don't do a lot of it because, I'm good. I've got enough sales. I've got enough stuff going on. I don't have to hustle. But this last year I hustled because I committed to it to show you guys that it works. And again, I haven't done the numbers for this year, but I can almost guarantee you it's more than double. like a lot more than double. Just because I put a little focus and a little effort in. And as we go through this, I'll show you where I put it. You don't have to put it in every category. You just have to do something. And again, it comes back to the focus. So let me find my sheet here and I'll share screen. Anything else before we get started? Anybody want to club me over the head before I pull my club out on you guys? All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. All right, so like I said, it's the 2025 scorecard. We're looking back. We're looking back from January 1st to present day in 2025. And again, I don't know my numbers, so on this one I would just take a guess, and that's okay. Just take a guess, and some of you, this is going to be zero. Some of you have not made your first dollar yet, and it's okay. But just understand all the stuff I'm going to talk about here is the way you're going to do it. It's the way you're going to change 2026. And those of you that are numbers people and you're on top of this stuff, that's great. I commend you. You'll probably have those numbers. So it's your gross sales and then your profit. Like some of you have 100% profit. You do digital products, and that's cool. Just put the 100% in there. That's what your profit is. Some of you have narrow margins. Here's something to think about. The more profit that you have in your products, the less that you have to sell. If you've got narrow margins, you might have to sell a lot of units to make the profit for you to be considered a success. And that's part of the freedom formula, figuring that out. How many units do I have to move to live my dream life? So that's what those two numbers are for at the top. And it's just kind of a gauge. Those two numbers don't really mean anything. It's just a gauge for like what you did this year. And then we're going to look at the efforts. And then the efforts should be clear of why these numbers here are what they are. So the first thing we're going to look at is lists and lead magnets. And I always like to do this by segment. So I have kind of a clear overall picture of my whole business. So you might have like 3, 4, 5 different segments that you cater to. Like you might have one segment, I'll use Janie as an example. She might have one segment where she sells aromatherapy products. That's a segment. That needs to be treated as a business to look at if it's profitable or not. Because she might get to the end of the year and say, man, I spent a lot of time and effort and money on aromatherapy and I didn't make any money. But over here, I do massage therapy and I make a lot of money at that. And it's easy to do and I don't have to work very hard. I don't know that to be true. That might be reversed. I don't know with your particular category. But I'm just using it as an example to say you need to look at your boxes in your business of where your money comes from and where your energies go into to make that money.
So John, do you recommend printing this out for each one of those types of things?
Yes, I would take this thing into like a Word document because you might not need like 10 sheets. You might just need 10 segments. So put it in a Word document, and then if you need multiple sections, just copy that section and just keep pasting it in, and then you'll be good with one document.
Okay, thank you.
Because having like 10 of these would be a pain in the ass. So just do one and just use it over as much as you need to. So in each segment, you want to look at, okay, how many lead magnets did I make or do I have for this segment in the last year? How many? And that should be a simple answer. How many lead magnets you made? I made a bunch of lead magnets this year. You guys probably saw the lead magnets that I rolled out. I mean, it was like the Franken AI, it was the buying triggers. I rolled out probably at least a half dozen, maybe more, different lead magnets this year. And then how many times did you email this segment? And I'm really bad at this one. I suck at, keeping up on sending email. A lot of times when I send email, they're like, "Who are you? I haven't heard from you in a year." This one is really important. Communicating with your list. These two really go hand in hand because every time you come up with a lead magnet, even though you're developing a lead magnet to generate new prospects, that the content should be very valuable. Why not give that to your whole list? So that's something like every time you make one of these, you should send it out to your list. If nothing else, you're giving them free value. You're staying in communication with them. You're becoming top of mind. And then when you have something you want to sell them, it'll be a lot easier. They'll trust you. They'll value you a lot more. And then how have you run ads to promote this lead magnet? Again, I totally suck at this one. Very rarely do I actually run ads, if ever. There's a few times when I'll run an ad to a lead magnet, but I could do a lot better if I just did that. And that's why I'm saying you can do really good. You don't have to do all of this stuff. This is stuff like if you're really good at something, pick that, do it. It'll benefit you greatly, but you don't have to do all of this. You don't have to do any of this. If you're happy where you're at, just don't do anything. You will stay there, guaranteed. So here's one. Have you done SEO or AIO for this lead magnet? Just a yes or no. Do you have affiliate swipe files? This is another one. I do really good with affiliate sales, but I suck at this one. Ben will tell you. Ben is an affiliate. He would love to sell my stuff using stuff I create for him. I'm just horrible at it. Not because I'm horrible at it, just because I'm freaking lazy. If I spent time on this section right here to help all my affiliates, I would do a lot better. What did you guys see me do just recently? All of my affiliates, I sent you an email on each product that I have, giving you something you could copy and paste with your email link right in it. That was the first time ever in my entire life. I'm 61 years old right now. That's the first time. It took me 61 years to achieve this level. So there's hope. But that is a big one. You know what happened as soon as I sent those emails out to my affiliates? Do you guess what happened? They sold stuff. Many of them sold stuff for the first time ever. And it was because I did that. I just sat down. It took me about not even a half a day. I used AI to write the letters. I used AI on each one. I had a prompt that I wrote, and all I had to do is just change the product, and it wrote me the new letter. And then in Kartra will automatically mail merge your affiliate link right into it. So it was a piece of cake. It was so easy. I was sitting there scratching my head going, why haven't I done this before? This was an easy way to make money.
But John, kind
Yes.
of contrary to that, because I'm on a lot of other different calls, and I'm on like a call with a big time social media influencer, affiliate network marketer, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he says he does not gives the old swipe cards, or not swipe cards, but the old swipe emails or whatever. He doesn't give to his affiliates anymore because of the fact that then they all just copy paste and send it out, and then there's nothing unique for each person. And so now, like just like what you said, anybody they all need to just learn. So instead he's teaching them how to use AI so that everybody's not sending the same doggone
Yeah. Yeah.
what you call it,
No, I
offer.
get that, but that's
Tomato.
flawed. That's a flawed theory.
It's a
And
tomato type thing.
yeah,
I can see the point to it, but I see your point more.
Yeah, I would rather give them something because how many times have you sat down in front of a blank page and got stuck and just threw it out the window and moved on to the next thing? I do it
What
all the
about
time.
giving prompts though? Like instead,
It's
giving the AI prompt to create their own swipe.
it's the same thing. And in my case, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them to create an appetite. I want them to get a success. And I know damn well if I give them anything more than copy and paste for somebody that's never done this before, I'm not going to get them to do anything. They'll do nothing. So if I can give them a taste, if I can get them to make one sale, guess what happens? They have a little success and their enthusiasm and their confidence goes absolutely through the roof. If I do that and I say, hey, everybody that has made your first sale, you want to come on to a free webinar and I'll show you how to really supercharge this. Then I can show them how to do their own prompts. But I can then serve both sides. But I can't jumpstart them if I'm not going to really shoot them out the barrel, with a blast. I've got to give them that jump start, I think. And I might be wrong. Your guy might be right, and I might be totally off base, but
Well, lazy is lazy. If you get people that are
yeah,
just lazy, then they're going to take the route that you're giving them. And then the people that are receiving these swipes, they're going to be like, oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
well, that's true too. If you're in an incestuous market, that's absolutely true. Like if you're in a group, like let's say Craig, I'll use Craig's group as a perfect example. If if I have affiliates in Craig's group and they all have the same people on their mailing list, and I do that with the group and they all send the same email, then yeah, that that point is well taken in that case. But I do, like when I send that out, you'll notice if you read that email, I say, here's something you can just simply copy and paste, but you should edit this to your own voice. If you do, you'll get better results. But nonetheless, I'm at least giving them something to start with, whether they want to edit it or not. So,
Yeah, and if let me chime in real quick. If you're doing like Facebook and Google ads, like you definitely want to change it up too, because those platforms will penalize you if you like just copy and paste stuff that other people have been sending out.
yeah, yeah, and that's Ben for you guys, and he is an affiliate marketer. That's what he does. So here's the next one. How many affiliates have you asked to promote this lead magnet? Have you actually gone out and, asked people to promote for you? That's a big one. You know, does the lead magnet have a sales funnel sequence behind it? Yes or no? I see a lot of people doing content. They're just churning out content on social media that's not attached to any sales funnels. And I got to just sit back and think, why? Why do you spend all your time that's not going to ever make any money? That's a big one. How many times have you promoted it in other people's podcasts? Like, are you looking for opportunities to get the word out? Remember I said in the beginning of this call, visibility is the only way you're going to make sales. Anybody that has an audience that would like your product, you should be asking to talk to that audience, whether it's through a podcast or a webinar or whatever. And then is this offered on your website for random people that just find your website out of the blue? Are you offering them all of your good stuff that you're building? And I'm guilty of this one. I've got a lot of stuff I never put on my website. I can't answer the question of why. I don't have any good reason for it. Y'all know what my reason is. It's not a good one. It's lazy. And then products. How many products did you add this year? Like, how many new things did you come up with to actually sell to bring in money? And you guys saw me do a bunch of these this year. I came out with a bunch of new products. The last one out of the gate was Optimancer. That thing is selling like crazy. People love it. And it's because me and Chris, we developed a product around what everybody wants right now. They all want visibility in AI. They all want AI to send them customers. So we built a product to deliver on that. And then once you've got the product, how many front end offers did you create? And how many back end offers did you create? Now, a front end offer is your initial offer. It might be, hey, here's a trial. Here's a trial, a $7 trial for 30 days. That's a front end offer. Front end offers are to generate customers. It's client acquisition. It's how do you turn your prospects into customers? And then the back end offers, that's the offer that could be considered an upsell. It might be the real offer. Like you might do, hey, I'm doing a 1-day seminar. It's $47. Come out and learn ABC. And then as you teach them the ABC in there, at the end of the day, you're offering them into a mastermind group. That's your real offer. That's your back end offer. You had to sell the front end offer to create the value to get them to buy the back end offer. So you should have a staircase of product, even if it's not your own product. Like I have one of my back end offers is Perry Belcher's mastermind group. When I bring people in, I might sell them a front end product like ACT and Quantum. I'll sell them that front end bundle. And then I'll say, hey, if you guys are just getting started and you really need somebody to hold your hand and support you going from 0 to 1 million and you don't have anything, if you don't have your own products and you don't have anything, but you really desperately want to go from 0 to 1 million in the first year, Perry Belcher has developed a mastermind group where he gives you all the products. He gives you whatever you need to sell and trains you through it, and he'll take you from that 0 to 1 million. I'm not built for that. I'm not built for like taking somebody by the hand and taking them from 0 to 1 million in a year, because most people don't have anything to do that. And I have products that you could do that. Like somebody could buy the Quantum white label and they could do that. Somebody could buy Optimancer and they could do that. I just don't have that level of support to like be in the trenches with you, like what Perry does. I've got the products. I just don't have the energy. Perry is like a bundle of dynamite. I just am not. So that's a back end offer for me, for people that are in that category. They might buy into my stuff and then they're not in that category. So I'm going to recommend the thing that I think is best for them, whether it's best for me or not. Would I rather keep them in my camp? Sure. But if my camp's not right, am I happy to pass them off? Absolutely. And if you take that attitude, people will follow you to the ends of the earth. They'll walk through fire behind you. That's the way you do leadership, is making sure you're leading people down the right path, not just leading everyone down a path. You've got to get people down the right path. That's how you're going to win. So on the products, you put down here the product name, the price, and the units that you sold in 2025. Now, for each product, this is just like the segments. For each product, print this out and do this exercise. How many big ideas did you develop for this product? Have you identified the most common objections so you can overcome those in your presentations? Have you identified why someone needs this? I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that don't know why somebody needs their product. And I'm like, how do you sell this? And the answer generally is, well, it's not selling. And I'm like, what a shocker. What a shocker. Have you identified the biggest benefits? These two go hand in hand. In fact, all of these go hand in hand. have you three-dimensionalized the benefits? The reason that you three-dimensionalize it is so they can hear it, see it, and feel it. You want them to hear, see, and feel the outcome before they've got it. That's going to make them want to buy it. You know, do you have an irresistible offer in place? All this stuff is what is learned in the ACT program. Every one of these things is a lesson that is in detail in the ACT program, and it's also in Quantum to actually do it for you. There's no reason for you guys not to be doing this. How many times have you emailed this product to your list? This might be a new product. Your list doesn't know about it. Have you told them about it? Back to visibility. How many webinars have you done on this product? I kind of fell short on the webinars this year, honestly. I did more webinars last year and the year before, and they all did great. Like one of my webinars did $52,000 in the promo. It was awesome. Do you have affiliates? Do you have an affiliate system in place, rather? All of you guys that are on Kartra, that's one of the big benefits of Kartra is its affiliate program built right into it. How many affiliates do you have for the product? Back to the swipe files. Do you email swipe files for affiliates to send to their list? Do you offer payment plans? If you're selling something that is $1,000 or more and you're not offering a payment plan, you're missing a lot of sales. Guaranteed right there. If you're selling a $47 thing, you don't need a payment plan. So it's just, again, it's whatever's right for what you're doing. Does this product have recurring income attached to the offer? This is huge. Recurring income is how you build an empire. Selling one-off stuff is how you build a mousetrap or a rat wheel where you just constantly have to sell, sell, sell. If you stop selling, your income stops if you don't have recurring. That's a horrible place to be in life. Like, what happens if you get sick and you have no recurring income? What happens if a family member gets sick and you want to go help them? You can't because your income would stop. This is freedom. This is true freedom. Financial freedom comes from recurring income. It doesn't come from wealth. It comes from recurring income. You could be as wealthy as you want. If you have no recurring income and your income stops, you're eroding that wealth. That's not freedom. So I really encourage, if you look at my stuff, almost everything I sell is recurring income, including my affiliate product. Or, like when I send somebody to Perry Belcher, he's going to sell them all kinds of stuff. I know this, and I'm going to get paid every time he does it. That's recurring income, whether it's in my list or not. Upsells, how many upsells do you have for this product? How many downsells? If you're trying to sell $1,000 thing, a lot of people aren't going to go for it. So do you have a downsell? Do you have a place where you can still turn them into a customer and then bring them back to that sale after you've developed a relationship with them? This stuff is really powerful. This is how you take whatever number was up at the top and you exponentially grow your business. These are the things that you do. Your business is not going to grow unless these things multiply. Guaranteed. Now, your offers, how many promotions, funnels did you make? How many incoming partner promotions and outgoing partner promotions? Incoming is you get someone else to promote you. Outgoing is you promote them, like I promote Perry Belcher. How many content pieces were released? A content piece doesn't necessarily have to sell something. It has to provide value. It has to do one of a few things. One thing a content piece might do is give value. You might give value to increase their confidence that they can actually get the desired outcome that your product delivers. If they have no confidence, they're not going to buy it. So giving away content pieces, make sure there are reasons for them. How many emails? Back to emails. How many emails did you send? What was your average open rate? This is how you gauge your emails for their effectiveness. How many people opened the email? If they didn't open the email, your subject sucked. You got to work on your subject lines. And, once they open it, how many people bought? That's your offer. If a bunch of people opened it, nobody bought it, either your offer sucked, your email sucked, or, something sucked in that pipeline. So you got to look at that. And how many traffic channels? This is big. Traffic channels are the key to growth as well. And a traffic channel might be, well, you're running ads on Facebook and you're making X amount. Why don't you turn around and run those same ads on TikTok or LinkedIn or some other platform? Those are traffic channels. And then rate which traffic channel was the most effective. You take your most effective ones and you scale those up. Any place where you're spending money on traffic that isn't working, not converting, you spin those down. That's how you optimize your ad spend. And then this is the SWOT analysis, and that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is something, I do this occasionally, just sitting in my hot tub thinking about this. Strengths are what you want to leverage to your advantages. Weaknesses, you either want to overcome or avoid. If you have a weakness, stay the hell out of it. Like, if you're not a tech person, don't position yourself to offer tech support. It's just not a good idea. Avoid it, or spend the time to strengthen it so it's no longer a weakness. Opportunities, you guys all know how I gauge opportunities. I go back and I use the beginning of the ACT program and the analysis to analyze, is this actually an opportunity? Is the market big enough? Are the people in it going to want this enough to pay for it? And do they have the money for it? You got to have those three things and to have an opportunity. And another thing I look at is, how much effort is this going to take? How much is this going to pay me out? Is it really an opportunity? If it's not, don't chase it. Don't be afraid to say no. Saying no is, somebody said this to me and I had to really kind of think about it. And I'm like, damn, that's really insightful. They said the only way that you get to a yes is by a lot of no's. You got to say no to a lot of stuff to get the one that you want to work. Because if you say yes to everything, and you've said yes to like 10 opportunities that are just going to be time sucks, and then a real opportunity comes around and you say yes to that one, and then you blow it because you're just consumed by all the other crap that you're shackled down with, you miss the opportunity. So don't be afraid to say no to something that's not really an opportunity. And then threats, like what kind of threat is on the horizon? And I've been really good. I've been really, really good at this. Like, a perfect example is when I had a commercial photo studio before I was in the internet. I had a booming business. This is back in like the mid to late 80s. I was making $3,500 a day plus expenses. That was a lot of money back then. And I was doing special effects photography. I had a studio. I was on top of the world. And then a threat showed up. And I identified the threat multiple years before it unwound and destroyed that industry. And I was able to segue out. If I hadn't identified that threat, I would have been destroyed. I would have lost all my income virtually like overnight when the flip happened, and I would have been just sitting there with nothing. But I identified the threat. I identified the long-term opportunity that was coming to replace the threat, and I switched gears. And my income never went down. That industry, what I used to do, doesn't even exist anymore. anybody that held on to that swirled and went down the drain with it, where I was out of the bowl before it actually started to swirl. I was into a whole new opportunity. So now we get to the big question. What are you going to change? And this should be in 2026, by the way. What are you going to change in 2026? Because I can absolutely 100% assure you of this fact, that if nothing on this list changes, nothing is going to change in your business. Your business is not going to have a miracle. And if it does, it's because one of these things changed and it wasn't because of you. You know, sometimes you just get lucky. You just get in the right place at the right time. But I guarantee you that one of the things on this list changed, whether you changed it or not, if your business goes up versus stays the same or goes down. And here's a new thing I've added on. This is new to this year for this exercise, is 4 ways to double. And I actually got this from Perry Belcher. Full disclosure, this came directly from him. He has the same kind of talk, and his is based around these 4 things. He said, if you want to double your business, all you have to do is one of these 4 things. One of them is add another market segment. Whatever you're doing, if you can take whatever you're doing and add another segment of a market that can benefit from that and sell to that marketplace, as long as that market segment's the same size as the one you're currently serving, you should double your business. So look for additional markets that could use your product. If you've already built out sales funnels, it's just a little tweak. You clone the sales funnel and you tweak it for that marketplace. Like a perfect example of this is the the presentation I made for Glacier Kennedy. A week later, I had the opportunity to give that presentation at the American Dental Association. This was a completely different market segment. All I changed was a couple of slides and a couple of words. And that thing was totally dialed in for that segment. And the slides that I changed and the words that I changed was I moved things like from client to patient. Because dentists don't have clients, they have patients. So I changed the language just slightly, but it landed. And then I changed the images, like in the Glacier Kennedy presentation, I was focused on chiropractors because I knew they had a lot of chiropractors in their audience. And I changed the chiropractor disaster story to the Dental Association disaster story. And I actually got the images and I got the headlines right out of their magazine. So my claim proof benefit statement came right from the American Dental Association newspaper that they print and distribute to their members. Talk about proof from a third party. I had it right at my fingertips and it converted like crazy. So number 2 is add another product to your mix. If you only have one product and you're selling, $100,000 a year of that, if you add another product that is similar in profitability, similar in market share, you should double with the same effort. In fact, the same people that you're selling the first one to will probably buy the second one as well. And you can literally double your income just by adding a product, even if it's not yours. Let's say you sell something and you've created a clientele. If you understand what else that clientele needs aside what you're already selling them and go make an affiliate deal with the person that offers that other thing they need, you could potentially double your income and not do any more effort other than an email. Just an introduction to the other thing that the other guy sells. Just that simple. You could double your sales, double your income. Another client acquisition channel. what I'm talking about here is how do you get your customers? That's a channel. I refer to that as a channel. And that might be an ad platform like Facebook ads. That's a channel. SEO is a channel. Um, Affiliate marketers is a channel. So if you just add another channel for client acquisition, you could potentially double or even more of your income. And affiliate offers, like I had mentioned that as another product, this is selling someone else's stuff to your audience. So these are the four ways. And let's say you want to do more than double, just do more than one. You know, if you can add another market segment, another product, and another traffic channel, that's going to more than double your sales. You could exponentially increase your sales with this sheet. And I'm not talking about just these four. I'm talking about this whole thing. If you go through here and you strengthen more than one of these things, there's a lot of stuff here. And this is by no means everything that you could do. This is just the stuff top of mind to me that seemed important when I built this thing. And it hasn't really changed. I've added stuff to it every year. You know, maybe I'll say, oh, well, yeah, let's add this. But this stuff is rock solid. Every one of these things is rock solid. If you're not doing this stuff, you're not getting your potential in your
Hey, John.
sales. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sure it's a little premature, but where would XRP benefits or whatever fall into this review? Is that something you'd add to this, or is it just the internet marketing stuff and selling things through funnels?
So XRP fits into the SWOT, and
Okay.
it's an opportunity.
Okay.
That would purely be an opportunity on the SWOT analysis.
Great. Thank you.
So that's where it fits in. XRP isn't necessarily a product. It's not part of your normal business. It's part of an investment strategy, but it's absolutely an opportunity for massive wealth. It's not necessarily sales growth. It's it's generational wealth.
So, can we do this again in June?
You guys can
Together?
do it every month if you want.
Well, I mean, together like this, because one of the things I'm sitting here going, so how do you work in a plan for the next whatever you're gonna do, a month, quarter, year from this scorecard?
Well, see,
Pick something and fix
that's
it.
what this call is for. I mean, we can do this every week. That's what I'm here for every week, is to help you guys with whatever you need help with. Anything on that list, that's all the stuff that I talk about every week.
Yeah.
There's not a week that's ever, I've been doing this call since 2010. And there's not a week gone by that I haven't talked about at least one of those things. So I'm here for you for whatever you need. But you get the list, and like I said, you should do this more than once a year.
I need to, for sure.
I would encourage you guys to like do this monthly. I don't know that I would go to weekly, but and at the very least quarterly. You should be looking at your business quarterly. The reason that I can get away with doing it yearly is I make enough money. I'm not scratching along. Believe me, if I were scratching along, I'd be working a lot harder.
Got it.
If I were scratching along, I'd be looking at what I'm doing with much more scrutiny.
That's me.
Believe me. And I wasn't always here. Believe it or not, I was young once and stupid and, but, but I've always been really good at finding opportunities. And basically I was using that SWOT analysis before I even knew what it was. And I think Jim Kaspari on the call here, I think he's the one that brought that to my attention. He does business coaching. He coaches businesses from a foundational perspective of how to build their business. And I'm pretty sure that that's where I saw the SWOT. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. And it's something that I just intuitively did. I just never talked about it. I never focused on it. It was just part of my internal being. but I've always been really good at that, understanding what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were. And believe me, I would steer the hell away from weakness. I won't get near that with a 10-foot pole. I will focus on my strengths 100%. That's the bubble I live in. I live in the bubble of strength. I live in the bubble of opportunity. I stay out of those other buckets.
Thanks for the review, and you answered a lot of the questions I had because I looked it over last night. This first time I've been doing this. I don't think I've been here a year quite yet, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is
Thank
a
you.
really powerful exercise, and that's why I do it. I've been doing this, I don't know how many years I've been doing this particular thing, but I think it's been at least 6. So a lot of you have seen it before, but some of you are just seeing it for the first time. And it's guaranteed. I mean, if you do this stuff, you're going to grow your business. Even if you're at 0, even if like you are just starting your business today from scratch, if you just follow this list and keep in mind, oh, well, how many of these things do I plan on doing this year? And then stay focused on those things. You don't have to do all of them. But what you have to do is you have to focus on something to sell. You have to find a product, even if it's not your own. Like Ben, I'm not telling Ben he's got to go create a product. I'm telling Ben he's got to pick a product. Pick a product and focus on it. If you want to build a product and focus on it. But don't be all over the place. Like pick what you're strong at. And if you're not strong at something, that's okay. That doesn't have to be your weakness. Turn that into your strength of finding somebody. Like Travis here, he's a prize fighter. He knows all about that shit. But if he didn't, he could go find somebody that was, and they could become his product. He doesn't have that issue, but like if any of you wanted to be in that industry, like let's say people that have been beaten up and are victims and all that, and you want to help them, but you don't have that skill, you can go over there and you can connect with Travis and say, hey, could I sell your stuff? I got a lot of people that really need this. And you could make a connection and you guys could work together and you both make money. I mean, there's people in the group here that you could connect with and make money with all day long.
So, what's your top 1 or 2 things off the list if you were either nowhere or very slightly making money to do?
I would focus on where are my best opportunities, without a doubt.
Cool.
Where are my best opportunities? I would take an inventory, and I do this all the time. I do this like unconsciously. I'm always inventorying my environment. Like what is available at my fingertips that I can create recurring income with at the drop of a hat with almost no effort. That's like my daily mind process when I walk through the earth every day. That's what I'm like, my peripheral vision is constantly scanning. Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the stuff that's just fallen from the sky that I can just pick up, put in my pocket? And it's all over.
Develop that skill.
I mean, I've done that since I was a little kid. My dad instilled that into me the day that I asked for something. I don't know if you've ever read that story, but he brought home a model airplane kit and he and I built that kit together and built this airplane. And it was the best experience of my life to that point. And naturally, the greedy little bastard that I am, I wanted another one, right? As soon as we were done with the first one, I wanted another one. And I asked him, I said, hey, can we get another one? And he says, yeah, you can have all of these that you want. You just have to figure out how to pay for them. These cost money. And that was my first point of concept that things cost money. And I have wants, and that's all I have to do to get anything I want is create that money. He ingrained that into me like a hot stamp. And the next day, before he got home the next day, I had the money to buy that next model. And when he got home, I showed him the money with the biggest smile on my face that you could probably imagine. And guess what? We didn't go in to eat dinner. We got in the car and he took me right then and I bought the next model. And by the end of that summer, I had a whole fleet of aircraft. But it was nothing more than looking around me and where's the money? Where's the money? How many cars do I have to wash to get what I want? How much of whatever I need to do to get what I want? That was my view from that point forward. And it has served me really, really well.
What did you do for that second model airplane?
I washed cars.
You washed cars, okay.
Yeah, I washed cars in the neighborhood. That was it. I couldn't mow lawns because I was allergic to grass, so that was out. I couldn't like go do yard work for people. That was in high demand, by the way. There was a lot of kids in the neighborhood making money that way, but I couldn't do that. That was my weakness. So I avoided it. I'm a water kid. I love water. So let's play with the hose and make money, right? That was my strength, was water. I'm a freaking Pisces. I'm built for water. That's why I'm literally sitting on the water right here, right now, talking to you guys. I'm in the middle of Newport Harbor, sitting on the water. That is, you know, that's a strength. Grass is kryptonite to me.
Got it.
So that SWOT report, as simple as it is, it's incredibly powerful. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. I mean, mowing lawns would be a serious threat to me because it put me in the hospital. I'm going to avoid that. Like the plague. I'm going to stick to what I'm made for, was water. So, but that's what I would do. If I didn't have anything, I'd start looking for opportunities. And one of the things I don't really talk about because it's kind of hard to it's not really hard to replicate. It's something I learned how to do a long time ago, and it's time compression. And AI is a perfect example of time compression. You can literally take a skill set that takes someone a lifetime to develop. And I learned long ago, long before AI, how I could compress that time. How I could literally compress that time to get me more time for me. And a perfect example of that was the photography business that I entered into. I had zero skill set in that when I opened that up, or when I started down that path. I was able to open a studio and have all the skill set that I needed in a 6-month time frame, when there was a 4-year college education to get the skill set developed that I had in 6 months. I compressed that time and was in business making money in a 6-month time frame, where most people, they would go to the school for 4 years. They would take 4 years to learn what I got in 6 months. And then they would have to go into an apprenticeship and work for someone, learn the business. And they didn't have their own business for probably 6 to 8 years, if they ever did. Many of them were put in a box where they'd just do nothing more than do that as a job. I had, in 6 months, I had everything I needed, and I was in business making money. And it was time compression. It was going beyond the normal rules. Like, I went to the college that was a 4-year college, and I signed up for all 4 years in one semester. And obviously you're not supposed to do that, right? And toward the end of the semester, I was called into the dean's office, and the dean, his problem with me was, he says, I'm going to have to put you on academic probation unless you can get at least a 1.2 grade point average. Because I've failed everything, because I didn't do anything. I did none of the work. I did none of the homework. I did none of the projects, but I showed up and listened, and I watched. I literally watched. The classes were made of 60 students. So there was 60 students in each section of that 4 years, from beginning to master level. And I watched all of that in 6 months. I wasn't there to do work, I was there to learn. And I learned from every one of those 60 students. I learned every mistake that every one of them made. I learned every creative angle that every one of them came up with. And I took it all and I left with it in 6 months. And you might think that sounds pretty devious and diabolical, but I wasn't in it for them. I was in it for me. I went there with intent and purpose. And you talk about focus. I was highly focused. I was not out partying that 6 months. I was there absorbing and taking.
You paid for the classes though, right?
I did. I paid for the classes.
They got nothing to complain about. They got paid.
They got paid, but that dean, he was hot about it when he heard my answer. I laughed at him first, and he didn't really find that amusing. And he wanted to know, he says, I want to understand what you think is funny about this. And I said, well, it's simple. I said, I'm already done. I got what I came here for. And by this time next year, I'll be making more money than you ever dreamed of. I don't need your approval. I don't need your GPA. I don't need anything you've got. I'm done. I'm gone. And he didn't like that. No one had ever talked to him like that.
Why does he care? They got paid.
Well, I mean, a dean's on a power trip, right? That's what it's all about.
Okay.
It's about power.
Got it.
And I got to tell you, I saw that dean like 4 or 5 years after that. And believe me, he recognized me. And I forget where it was. It was at a restaurant somewhere. And he actually came up and said, hey, how are you doing? And I told him, I said, I'm doing great. And I said, sit down, I'll bring you up to speed. And I told him what I had done. And he was like flabbergasted. He said, of all those kids, that was 4 years of 60 each. So you're talking about 240 students. And I was the only one that was making a living. And I was making a damn good living too. I wasn't just making a living, I was living. And he was like, you're the only one that could actually turn this into gold. And I said, yeah, and you scolded me for it. But that's time compression. That's taking a volume of information that is on other people's dime. That's other people's effort, and just nothing more than observing and learning. There's a ton of information out there. There's a lot of people that are really good at what they do, and they might not be willing to tell you, but you can watch. You can learn probably more by watching than you'll ever get out of them telling you. Because they're doing stuff they're not even aware of. So if you ask them, what's your secret? They're going to tell you what they think it is, but that's not really it. It's what they do, and you learn just by looking. So, and like right now, we have an incredible opportunity for time compression and wealth. That's what XRP is. For any of you that have been following me for that, I've been screaming that from the rooftops for the last 5 years. That, there's like every opportunity that I've seen in my lifetime, this one is no different. And it's about to unfold. Like all the 5 years is about to come to a head. And it's time compression of wealth. The way most people generate wealth is they save a little bit of money over time and they put it into investments and they make a small return on it and it grows exponentially. But the problem with it is time. You have to have time to do that. Like the way that works is whatever interest rate you get, you divide that into 72, and that's the number of years it takes to double. So if you've got $1,000 and you're getting 10% interest on it, 10 divided into 72 that divided in is 7.2 years before that's going to double. So 7.2 years down the line, you're going to have $2,000. And then 7 years down the line, you're going to have 4,000. And then 7 years down the line, you're going to have 8,000. And it's how long do you have? 7 years is a lot of time out of your life to double. And that multiplication doesn't really get crazy until you're 20 years or 20 times in. Well, 20 times 7, that's 140 years. I don't think we have that kind of time, right? So you need time compression to create wealth. And that's what XRP is. It's like Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a precursor to XRP. Bitcoin was just a glimpse into what the real thing is going to do. And if you bought into Bitcoin 10 years ago, when it was like $2, like XRP is right now, and you bought $1,000 worth at $2, you'd have 500 XRP right now. That's worth what, 80, 90 grand each? That's time compression in wealth. And that's where you're at with XRP. It's repeating, the cycle is repeating with a different asset that's much more powerful and got much more utility into the future. And for any of you that have kind of had your eyes open looking around and seeing what's happening in the world right now, the entire financial system is collapsing, and they've been planning and plotting and scheming and developing the new one for 10 years. And it runs on XRP.
Yeah, I opened an email this morning. Holy mackerel. Do you know Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank?
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Anyway,
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. He started something called Start Engine. It's crowdfunding for different ideas. And the email he sent this morning, I was like, he was talking about not XRP specifically, but we're on the rails. We're like everything you've told us. He said,
Yeah.
we're there. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
John, I need a footnote on that on Start Engine. Start Engine was started about almost 10 years ago. I was involved with it through an affiliate of Darren Marble. Darren Marble is a very hustler, and he worked with Start Engine, and he built his relationship with Kevin O'Leary. So Kevin O'Leary just signed on lately, but Start Engine has been around a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you talk about this of all the opportunities I've seen in my entire lifetime. There's nothing even close. Nothing even in the same hemisphere as this. So it's pretty good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. I hope this was helpful, beneficial. I just totally encourage you guys to take that report card and fill it out and be honest with yourselves. You don't have to be 100% accurate. You don't have to know exactly what your numbers are or whatever, but you'll clearly see, if you're honest with yourself, you'll clearly see what you haven't been doing. And the other thing about that is it's not just as important to look at what you haven't been doing. It's just as important to look at what you have been doing that hasn't been getting you anywhere. Because you don't have to spend more time out of your life to get success. All you have to do is replace the stuff that you're doing that's not working with the stuff that will work. You don't have to chew up more of your life to be successful. You have to be more strategic about your time. If you take, half the stuff you're doing doesn't make sense and you eliminate it, you now all of a sudden have a lot more time on your hands. More time to do these things that will actually move you forward. So you can be far more successful with the same amount of time spent, the same amount of free time that you have. And ultimately, if you do this long enough in succession and you grow powerful enough, you will have the freedom I'm talking about. You'll be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, with whomever you want to do it with. So that's what it's all about. That's freedom at its core. So now you have the roadmap, the blueprint, whatever you want to call it. Travis, go ahead.
Brilliant.
I got a quick question for you, John. I get asked to do a lot of webinars. Some of them are, most of them are relevant. I wouldn't be white, or podcasts, whatever.
Uh-huh.
But, sometimes the average viewer count is like a couple hundred people. And I'm sort of wondering, like, it's always nice to expose yourself to a greater audience. Even 100 people seeing a well-executed live offer or something will make you some money. But at what point does being on at what amount of viewership is it almost like discrediting yourself for spending time on a podcast with 100 people, you know?
Well, it doesn't really quite work like that. It's like the more exposure you have, and this kind of depends on where you are. You probably have a lot of exposure at this point. So, for you, it might be different than someone else, but if you are just starting out, you don't have any exposure, the credibility of being on a podcast might be enough just in itself to do it. Because what happens is it's kind of like dominoes. One leads to another, and they all start knocking each other down the more you do. So if you need to build your base, you shouldn't pass up on any opportunity to get exposure. And the real key to that is you don't really know who's in the audience. Let's say you're on a podcast and there's only 10 people in the audience, and you were expecting 1,000. You didn't get 1,000, but you got 10, and one of those 10 is a super affiliate that falls in love with you and makes you a bunch of money. Does it matter that there was only 10 people in that case? Probably not. So, it's not like it's a hard question to answer, really, quantifying like how many is worth it, because it only takes one of the right one.
Right. I found it I previously sort of like onboarded all affiliate requests. And sometimes I sign people up for affiliate programs and then they're just like running sort of generic coupon sites where, and it's like, am I just somehow like giving money away? I don't even know how they're driving traffic with these things. It strikes me as shady. I'm just like, you apparently run bestcoupon.com, and how are people even seeing this stuff?
Well, everybody's trying to make a buck, right? They all have their little shtick and what have you. But the way I look at it is your the power of an army is in its numbers. Like if you have 10 troops on the ground versus a million troops on the ground, even if 900,000 of those million troops are idiots and don't have any skills, it still brings a sense of power to that marketplace. And like with me, if I've got probably 400 or 500 affiliates in total, and out of them, I would say 90% have never made a sale. 90%. A couple of them make 100 grand a year. I literally pay them 100 grand a year. And if I could just like, a big difference was this year when I sent those emails out, I got a lot of people that made their first sales. And what if they only made one sale? It's for a recurring product, right? If I had 1,000 people that all just made one affiliate sale, I'd have 1,000 new customers.
Yeah, but then, assuming you plan on running ads that are going to probably reach whoever's in that audience anyhow, and let's say it costs me, $1 to make five running ads, is it really worth giving away 50% of your sale just to get, like how can you possibly tell if you're just cannibalizing your own profits? Or is this
Well,
typically for, if you don't have reach or you're not going to use
no,
these?
there's a lot of truth to that. Like I know some people that don't want affiliates for that very reason. If you've got the skills to acquire customers by running ads and you're putting out $1 and bringing five back, you don't need affiliates. You might not want affiliates. It's like that comes down to a business proposition that what is right for you. And you're absolutely right. If you are able to put out $1 and bring back five by running ads, you should be focused on where is the limit to that scale.
That's another really annoying thing that you bring up because when I set the budget to $500 a day, I'll make 4 or 5 to 1, certainly on a new ad campaign. Just
Yeah,
pulling in what to me what is like a ridiculous amount of money for sitting there and essentially doing nothing. But
sure.
the moment I start scaling that, the moment I want to spend $2,000 a day, suddenly the return on ad spend drops down to 2.5 to 1. And it's like, what is it about? Like, do I really need to scale this thing, or is it Google Ads not being deliberate with my money versus as soon as I jack up the budget, I'd almost rather just sit back and make $2,000 less a day, but be getting the most return on ad spend possible.
Yeah. Well, again, that's just part of your own function of strategy inside your business. You might be right, and if you're happy with your income, you're good, but I would be very careful. Like if your stuff is recurring, you don't have to be as careful. But if you're talking about like a lot of one-off sales and you need those sales to come in, I would be I would be leveraging and looking for every possible opportunity to bring customers to me as possible.
Yeah,
Because if you're reliant on one and it goes away, like people have seen this a lot. If they're running ads, they're making their whole livelihood off of Facebook ads or Google traffic or Google paid ads or whatever. And then all of a sudden that changes and it goes away. They're in deep shit like right now.
dude, it's happened to me before. Even
Yeah.
when Facebook implemented all the new privacy stuff back
Yeah.
in what was that, like 2019, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Return on ad spend went from like 4 to 1 to 1.5 to 1
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, even though it hasn't happened yet, that falls on the threat category and the SWOT analysis. If you only have one channel of traffic, you are in the threat zone,
Right.
no matter how you slice it. So, in that aspect, the more traffic channels you have, like you're talking about, is it worth it to do all these podcasts? Well, maybe if you spent a year or two doing all those podcasts and you had a very good source of income coming from them, even if it wasn't as profitable, and your ad channel disappeared, that would be all you had. At least you have something.
Right.
So it's a matter of, that having relying on one traffic channel is definitely a weakness for sure. And it's also definitely a threat. So it
Yeah, I mean,
falls on two of those big categories that I tend to steer clear of.
I've wanted to focus on different stuff. Typically it's just whatever platforms I can run a video ad. If it's profitable, I'll keep running it on that
Sure,
platform, try to maximize them one at a time. But there's a
sure.
part of me that feels like I'm missing out on, pay-per-click ads in the middle of somebody's martial arts blog or something. But, then when it comes time to design the graphics for those things, I'm just like, I don't even want to deal with this. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Well,
if anybody's got a graphics guy, send them my way because I can use it.
yeah, that's where AI comes in. All that stuff that you think you're weak at, creating those ads, you could have AI be doing that stuff for you, churning it out like butter.
Yeah. Huh.
It is amazing. I can do top end stellar graphics that I've never had the capabilities for. And the reason I never did it in the past is I knew how much money it was going to cost me, and I knew how much of a pain in the ass it was going to be to work with somebody to get it right.
I will say your AI in the back end of Optimancer is it's mildly provocative. You need the AI girls to be that bizarrely hot. I'm like, oh, come on. You're not the support girl here. I know who's answering my ticket. It's not you.
Well, hey, that's part of my strength now is I can create that stuff on the fly.
Am I the only one who's seeing that? Is that my support girl?
No,
How
no,
far into
she's
my pixel have you delved?
oh no, she's across the board. But
Yeah,
I mean, AI gives you that opportunity to leverage power. I mean, who wouldn't in a business that is highly profitable, a big business, who do they hire? They hire the most attractive spokespeople. That's
right,
just what they do. And with AI now, you can build your attractive person or, support person or whoever you want.
right.
So why
So
not?
we're dark for the next couple of Thursdays and back on the 8th of January, John.
Yes, I believe so. Whatever,
Okay.
whatever that, yeah, that would be the 8th because I think New Year's falls on the 1st. I figure
Yep.
nobody wants to listen to me babble on Christmas and New Year's. So
I would. I get smarter when I hear you,
I
John.
would.
Give the man a vacation. Enjoy his boat.
Yeah, I probably actually we're uh we're gonna be I don't know where we're going, but we're gonna be heading somewhere between Christmas and New Year's, and we probably won't even be back before New Year's.
Have a great trip, John.
Oh, I always do. I always have fun.
Happy New Year, everybody. See you later.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Anybody
Bye.
else before
Yeah.
we wrap up?
I got a couple questions about Optimancer if you got time to field them.
Okay, sure. I'll
They
do
might,
what I can. That's kind of Chris's domain of expertise as far as the back end of it goes. I've been playing with it uh, quite a bit on the front end, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I haven't managed to get a complete scan of my site. It seems to hang at like 270 pages out of 900. But if you happen to know,
Well,
uh,
it's interesting that you say that because the other day I ran like five clients, and I actually set them up because I want to get the process down myself. So I offered it for free to clients. So I set up like five of them in a row, and it went absolutely flawlessly. And then I did my Internet Dominators site. I just ditched the first one because it was messed up because it was a test before Chris was ready. And I ran my Internet Dominators site. It's got several hundred pages too, like yours. And it did the same thing as what you're experiencing. It got caught up at some point during scanning all the pages.
yeah,
So I've been communicating with Chris about that. Did he ever reach out to you, by the way? Because I
I
hit him.
no, I haven't heard back yet. I mean,
All
one of the
right.
reasons I want to get these questions in is so I can get back to the guy who's interested. He's like a big lawyer in New Jersey, got a bunch of sites to optimize. So
Okay. I would say if they're smaller sites, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But I think it's sites with like a couple hundred pages. That's the only place where I've seen an issue. And I know Chris knows about it because I've told him about it, and I clubbed him over the head again the other day about your stuff to, get that figured out and reach out to you. And I usually when he doesn't respond, he knows the problem and he's working his butt off to fix it
right,
before
yeah,
he
always
picks
better to
up.
have a fix. Okay, a quick question. Can you run the plugin on specific batches of pages, or does it automatically affect the entire site? Can you exclude
No,
certain?
no, the plugin you can exclude the FAQs on any page. It's a on and off checkbox, and then you can also do the same thing for the schema. If
Okay,
you
but would you have to, is there like a list block that you can fill in with a series of your URLs, or does it have to be checked on every single page?
No, what the scan does is the scan gives a list of every page.
Okay,
And then in the plugin, when you hit the sync button, it downloads that whole list into the WordPress backend. And
okay,
then you have a control panel where you have a toggle of on and off for any of those pages, both for the FAQ and the schema.
got it. But not really a bulk control, so to speak. I think
There,
these guys
there,
really want to try it out on like 10 pages before they, generate a bunch of schema for 100 of
yeah,
them. I want to look at
sure.
it and make sure it's
Well, well, you can see the schema like in the report. When you generate the report, it's going to show you the schema. You
right.
don't have to even plug it in to see it.
Okay.
So you could show them the schema and say, hey, here it is. Here's the schema for each page. You can take a look, review it. If it's If it looks good, we can put it on whatever pages you want, or we can not put it on at all. Whatever you want.
Gotcha. So essentially the dashboard, the online dashboard is generating the schema, but the plugin is what syncs it with the actual site itself.
Correct.
You can look at the schema on an online dashboard. Will they have access
Yeah.
to that, or is that something I have access to?
That's something you have access to, but you can generate the report for them, and it will have the report with each page and each schema in the page.
Got it. Okay. So, all right. But no effects take place on the site until they hit that sync button.
That's correct.
Got it. And you said it generates FAQ, but does it also generate how to Q&A article, etc.? Is it essentially what schema types does it do?
The schema, I don't really know the specifics of what it's generating or how it's generating it and all that. That would be more a question for Chris because he's developed it on the back end to do that.
Okay.
But the thing with the schema is it's generating a unique schema code that's added to the page. Now, the big question I've got is some people say, well, my pages already have schema.
That's my next question.
Is it going to update the schema or just add a new one? And it just adds a new one. And
Okay.
there's no conflict with that. There's no problem with that. You can have as many schema codes on a page as you want. So you might have your original schema that's all dialed in the way you want it. And then this one is going to add the schema specifically for the AI, and it's just going to be on top of what you already have.
Got it. Okay. That's good to know.
It
Cool.
will not replace your existing schema. It just adds a new one in line with it.
Got it. Now, if they deactivate or unsubscribe, all the schema goes away, correct?
Correct. And the FAQs as well.
Now, basic question about updates and compatibility. Is it compatible with the major SEO plugins like Yoast, Rank Math, that kind of thing? I can't imagine why it would have any conflict, especially if it's just adding additional schema.
Yeah, as far as I know, there is no conflicts.
It's not conflicted with my Yoast on my Simply Z websites yet, Travis, so it shouldn't. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Tim.
I can't tell you, explicitly that it won't or never will, but there's none that I'm aware of at this point.
Got it. From what I'm hearing, as far as your description of the functionality of the plugin, it doesn't add like JavaScript to the front end. It doesn't
No.
add JSON to the head.
No,
Basically, it's going to be making database entries that present schema.
correct.
Got it. Okay.
And then as far as the FAQ, there's another way that you can control the FAQ. It's going to generate the FAQ in the WordPress, whether you display it on the page or not. So what you have to do, you have to put the widget code on the pages that you want the FAQ displayed on. So you are in total control of where you place it.
Ah, that's interesting.
So like what I do, since I'm lazy, is I use Beaver Builder. So what I do is I take the standard footer in the Beaver Builder site, and then I'll add a new cell above it, above the footer, and then I color that cell to match the body of the page, because a lot of times my footers are different color than my page.
Right.
So I'll put a new cell on top of it. I'll color that cell to match the rest of the website, and then I drop the widget code in that cell. So it's showing at the bottom of every page, but above the footer.
Got it.
And
Okay.
it
If it's
matches.
just a short code, it shouldn't be displaying on your site anyhow, right?
What's that?
If it's just a short code, it shouldn't display on your site in like
Oh,
a
yeah, correct. The short code does not display as short code. It either displays the filler, or if there's no filler, it doesn't show anything.
But like you said, you could put that in the site footer and then it'll be site wide.
Yes, correct.
Got
Or
it.
if you
Okay.
just want it on certain sites, you just drop that code on those pages, and you can put it wherever you want it. Like if you want to inject it in the middle of a page, you just drop that widget right there.
Gotcha.
Or
Now
that short code.
we use your third-party AI service, but there is no per cost per run, right? Like there's no compute cost, right?
No,
guys-
no.
I remember Chris saying it cost a couple bucks per run, and then I guess it'll update as new pages come in.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. They can review before publishing because I can download that report.
Yeah.
Here's my question because this guy has a pretty sophisticated developer, even just based on his questions. What is stopping somebody from using your AI, running the report, and then building a script to pull the schema themselves and just overwriting it and essentially saying, "Oh, well, thanks, we tried it out, don't like it."
There's nothing that prevents that.
Okay, got it.
Now, the thing as a business model that you can do to eliminate that is it would take them a lot of work and effort to do that if you didn't give it to them in the report. So, like what I tell people is generate the base report that just shows them if they're visible or not, and then offer either the service to do that if they have WordPress where you can just put the plugin in, or if they don't have WordPress or they don't want to pay for the service, you can offer to generate all the codes to give to their webmaster to do it manually, like what you're talking about. And then you charge them, maybe $500 for that or something.
Well, I was going to charge them $500 regardless per month,
Yeah.
but that was just me for all of their
Yeah.
site.
Yeah.
You know,
But if it was somebody where they're just going to go off and do that, and it's the only way you're going to get them as a customer, you could charge them, and if you're charging them $500 a month, maybe you charge them $2,000 for the report. Say, hey, we'll just give it to you and you can have it and you don't have to pay any more or whatever.
Gotcha. But
Well, how about, well, yeah, maybe use it until we can give you 2 grand forever. Or, all right, if you sign our 1 year contract, we can just, you understand what I mean on that one, John and Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically use that, well, the cost is $2,000, but it's $500 a month if you want to do the track, and then we'll bypass the $2,000 charge. So
gotcha.
and put them in a contract, Travis. I put everybody in a contract.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, that makes some sense.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, if I was to generate a report, I would probably generate a report on just a handful of pages and show
Yeah.
them what it's doing, and that way it would
Hmm. Hmm.
be the
Yeah.
full site. But if they're constantly creating and updating new pages anyhow, to $500 to completely take this off of
Oh,
their
yeah.
workload, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
For a big site like that, $500 a month for that kind of service is, that's nominal.
Right. Got it.
Like the
Okay.
site, like when Chris developed the software, the thing that really provoked him to do that and put all that effort and work into building that thing was, we got a customer that wanted to pay 60 grand, or they didn't want to, but that's the price that he gave them was
I
60.
want a customer who wants to pay 60 grand. I really want that problem.
I mean, you get that in the commercial world. Like when you start working with big manufacturers, a big manufacturer might have, 10,000 products in a catalog, and they're doing, 10, 20, $50 million worth of sales a year. To have little problems like that go away for thousands of dollars a month or, whatever, that's nothing for them.
Right.
That's the only customers I used to take on was manufacturers. That was my ideal customer. I wasn't working with any local businesses. That just wasn't my thing.
Now, is there any kind of reporting? For example, I clicked on some link from ChatGPT as I was trying to formulate a custom face lotion because I'm tired of paying $20 a bottle for Aveeno. Then I noticed that there was a UTM link for ChatGPT. Are you guys using like UTM links to develop some kind of tracking or reports for the actual traffic impact that it's
I
having?
I don't believe we are currently.
Okay,
Not to say that we couldn't, but for right now, what this thing is built for is just built to solve a specific problem.
got it.
Now, as it evolves, we may add, who knows what we might add into it.
Yeah, because if ChatGPT is already providing a tracking link, it's like, why
Yeah.
not? They
Yeah.
can actually see the impact on their traffic.
Yeah. I don't want to pose any of that to Chris yet until he gets this thing dialed in and he fixes all the current bugs.
Right.
I want to keep him focused on let's get this thing totally dialed in, and then we'll start throwing additions at him.
Yeah, yeah, but that does seem highly possible. I mean, you could even probably code your own kind of custom plugin to give you reports on whatever UTM link might
Yeah,
top.
I'm sure you're going to see a lot of products roll out to do all kinds of stuff around AI. That is the future. We're
Yeah,
just at the beginning of it. We're taking advantage of the beginning part of the bell curve.
right. Yeah, so I mean, he has noticed that he's gotten killed as far as like informational searches where people used to
Yeah,
land on his site when searching New Jersey-based DWI arrests or whatever. You
yeah.
know, now Google gives you a nice, convenient little feedback blob that will often answer those questions. So he's definitely feeling the impact on search for sure.
Oh yeah, I think everybody is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I mean, I think about it. I used to use Google like multiple times a day.
Yeah, I don't even use it anymore.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time that I actually used Google to look anything up.
Right. It's
I've
true. Like why sift through
Here,
somebody's
hold this one.
blog
That's what
to
I,
hear
no,
about
this
the
one.
story of their youth to
No, I
find
need
a
to put that
recipe?
one away. Hold this one.
yeah.
Or you can.
Okay, so basically, other than the additional schema that might be generated, I think you've answered all my questions, so we should be good to
Oh,
go.
okay. Awesome.
Yeah, appreciate it, John. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
no problem. All right, Daryl, go ahead.
Thank you, John. A lot simpler question, showing my lack of sophistication in the back end of the web world. Uh, I ran a report on a company, just check how it worked. And I went to one of the questions, one of their pages. I did the Q&A. I copied the code, put it into a dummy website. It shows the questions, but it's not showing the answers. So
When
either
you
there's a glitch there or the glitch is here.
when you say you copy the code, was it the short code?
No, it's long code.
Okay, that might be the problem. It's meant in the WordPress
Show my
widget.
ignorance. I'm not sure the difference between the short code and the long code. I just
So,
pulled it up, copied it, inserted it in the
okay.
website.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, that's not the way you do it. Uh,
Okay.
there's a short code. If you go into WordPress and you go into the settings, it's the page where you put in your API key and then you do the LLM file, you paste that in there, and then you
Mm-hmm.
scroll down. I think it's the next section is where it gives you the FAQ short code. And it's just a little thing inside of the brackets. And you paste that on the page in WordPress where you want the FAQs to show up. And then it pulls
Okay.
them based on that short code and it displays them in that part of the.
So short code comes right from WordPress.
Yes. So if you go into the WordPress plugin for Optimancer and you go into I think it's the settings tab, it's where you put the API key. If you're in the page where you got the API key, just scroll down and there'll be an instruction there on the short code. And you just copy that short code and it's
Okay.
it's the little thing. I forget what the short code is, but it's in brackets. It's not very long. It's a short code. And you just paste that in, literally paste that into your web page where you want the FAQs to show up, and then it will pull them into that page and display them, and they'll be
Okay.
correct.
Okay. I have used the help section on Optimancer. It leaves a lot desired yet, but I'm
Yeah,
certain that's going to improve as we go along.
yeah, absolutely. I'm just really getting my feet under it, and
When I ran
Chris.
into this problem, I checked back for almost a week and a half and nothing had changed. So I finally just said, well, I'll talk to John.
Yeah, yeah. Use the short code. That's the way it's meant to work. And the
Okay.
reason you
Thank
want
you.
to use the short code is that it's all connected and it syncs. So let's say your customer updates the content on that page, it will regenerate that FAQ based on that new content. So it'll keep everything in sync for you.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, just get some clarity on Optimancer. Does it just create frequently asked questions and answers for the whole site, or does it do it for individual pages?
It's individual pages. It generates an FAQ that is specific to each page. And then the short code puts it onto the page, onto the appropriate page. And also in the WordPress plugin, you have a list of each page in the Optimancer settings, and there's a toggle on and off for both the FAQ and the schema. So you can turn it off. Like, for instance, you wouldn't want on your policies page, you wouldn't want an FAQ. On your contact page, you probably don't want an FAQ. So you just literally you toggle it off on the pages you don't want it to show up on.
And do you have separate short code for each page?
Same one. So you can literally put it in the footer, and then you can toggle it off if you don't want it on that page in the control panel. So you could do it on a global site-wide basis, and then you can control which pages it's on in the control panel.
Would it be the same frequently asked questions and answers if you
No.
do it site-wide?
No, well, it's the only thing that's site-wide is the short code widget code.
Okay, so it knows which page.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
knows based on the page which FAQ and which schema to display for that page.
Awesome, perfect.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool. So like in Beaver Builder, I just go into the footer, the global footer in Beaver Builder, and
Yep.
I'll add another cell above, and I'll
Right.
color that cell to whatever the page color is, and I drop that short code in there. And then if I don't want it on there, I just toggle it off and nothing shows up. So
Okay, gotcha.
John,
Thank
is that
you.
using the plugin?
pretty easy. What was that, Daryl?
Is that using the WordPress plugin for
Yes.
Optimancer?
Yes.
Because I'm doing everything manually at this point. I haven't seen anything about where to get the plugin.
The plugin, if you go into the help button at the top of the dashboard, that's where the plugin is. You can download the plugin, and there's a video right there. It's like an 8-minute video that explains the process of all of that.
Gotcha. That clarifies a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, how to install the plugin, how to configure it, all of that stuff is in that little short video.
Great. Thank you.
But yeah, I've been putting it, like, I don't know how many sites I put it on, but I put it on like 6 in one day. And, just to learn it myself and get my feet under it and make sure that all's working right. And the only site I really had a problem with was my Internet Dominators site. It was kind of bombing out. I don't know if it was bombing on a particular page, but I've got some weird pages in the back of my site that, has funky codes and stuff on them. So it might be my own sabotage on that. But everyone else is like all the clients that we've built for in Beaver Builder, it's been just like grease lightning. Pretty cool. I mean, it's awesome too to see those FAQs just automatically pop up on the pages. Pretty cool. So,
is that working with Divi at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, it should work with Divi or Elementor or WP Bakery or any of those.
Great.
They all allow shortcodes, so. All right. Anything else before we wrap up? Ahmed, was that a question or a goodbye? Okay, cool.
That's another sure. It's holiday time.
All right, guys. Well, have a good one. I'm back in the Christmas parade tonight and gonna do another round. It was pretty awesome last night.
It was fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
I'll see you tonight, John.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Have a great week. Actually, have a great rest of the year. I'll see you guys next year.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday, everybody. See you next year.
Everybody. Thanks, John.